What's good, everybody? I hope that you all are having a great day. This is Hajal, your animated motivator, and today I want to ask you, what is your social anxiety origin story? In other words, what is your first experience that you can remember of dealing with social anxiety? I'm really big on Marvel Comics, and every superhero has a superhero origin story. Whether it's the Hulk being blown up by a gamma bomb explosion, or whether it's Spider-Man being bitten by a radioactive spider, they all have origin stories that created who they are today. So I want to look back on our origin story. I want to look back on the experiences that shaped who we are today. And I'm going to be letting you know my origin story. So my first experience dealing with social anxiety, when I was younger, I was pretty much a quiet kid. I stayed in my head a lot. I very shy. I even remember being with my dad, and I remember a lady asking, "Why doesn't he talk? Is he mute?" She said, and I didn't even take that personal, because that's just how I was. I was quiet. However, I remember going into the 6th grade. There was this teacher, and we're just going to name him Mr. B. Take the B to mean whatever you like. But nobody wanted this teacher. He was very strict, very mean, and had a reputation in the school. Well, I ended up getting this teacher, and just to show you what kind of teacher this was, I was on the cross guard in the 6th grade, and this is not the experience, but this is not my origin story, but this is the start of it. I was on the cross guard and never was late until one day. This probably halfway through the cross guard season. Alarm didn't go up. I remember waking up, seeing I was late, throwing on my clothes, probably barely brushing my teeth, running out the house. Got down there, and I was probably a good 10 minutes late. I was late. I will give you that. However, got there, finished out the morning, went to class in the morning, and it was like 4 cross guards that he told to stand up. It was in our class. We stood up, and I was the first. I happened to be the first one. He was like, "Were you late today?" And I was like, "Yeah." And this is in front of the whole class. And he said, "You're fired. Sit down." And yeah, I was kind of shell-shocked, but sat down, and to make matters worse, he announced that the cross guards will be going to Six Flags, later that year. And I was bummed out. I was really bummed out. So back to my origin story. One day we had a role-playing exercise where everybody in the class was to act out a role, and he basically put the roles in a hat and had everybody pick out the role that they would be performing in front of the class. So I remember picking my role out, and it said that I was a boyfriend who had cheated on his girlfriend. I was two-timing 2 women. And my first thought was like, I had never even had a girlfriend, so I didn't even know how to act. And to make matters worse, I was probably the last one to go, because everybody, I remember, and maybe I was just blowing this up in my little young mind, in my 6th grade head, but it seemed like everybody that went before me were just putting on stellar performances. They were just, really good. And the more I had to wait, the longer I had to sit there, the more it built up in my head that I did not know what to say or what to do. And when it finally got around to my turn, I was paired up with 2 of the most outgoing girls in the class. And as soon as it was our turn, they just went off. "What are you doing cheating on me? What are you doing going on? Who is this? Who is this?" Both of them just at the same time. And I just stood there. And they just kept going, "What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you thinking?" And it got to a point because I just stood there quiet the whole time. And finally, They both just stopped and looked at me, waiting for me to say something. And the teacher Mr. B intervened, and he was like, "You got to say something." And it seemed like it was quiet for a good 5 minutes, it seemed like. And I said nothing. And he said, "What are you doing?" And I sat down, put my head into my arms, and cried. And I remember the feeling. It just was such a dreadful, terrible feeling that I had. And I remember, like, when my head was resting in my arms, I remember somebody said, "Is he crying?" And man, that was terrible. That's my first experience. Now, the thing is that we want to look back on these experiences and we want to change the way that we think about them. Like, yes, when I think about it, all these feelings, they come back up, they bubble back up, and you want to start looking at it in a different light. This made me who I am today. Though that experience really did shape who I am. And I've had many more essay experiences, many more dreadful, that same feeling popping back up. But one thing I am starting to realize is that the thoughts that's going on in my head, how I look at it, I have to try to be more positive in my mind. And I want you guys to start being more positive. Go back. If you think about your origin experience, your origin story, go back and try to give that young kid some love, man. Because I remember even after that, I didn't go home and I didn't talk to my parents about it. I was just in my head. I didn't talk to friends about it, and I beat myself up. I beat myself up so much. Like, what were you doing? What are you thinking? Why couldn't you perform like the other people? And that's what we want to try to eliminate, man. That negative thinking, that negative talk that's in our head. We want to get more positive, man. You want to put more positive. Give yourself more love. Give yourself more comfort, man. And that's what we do. That's what we do with SA. We beat ourselves down so much. We got to learn to stop doing that. We got to learn to work with the opposite side and give ourselves some love, man. Give yourself be your biggest cheerleader. Be a cheerleader of yourself instead of beating yourself down every time. So what? So what you got nervous in front of your family or friends or whatever, or in an event? So what? We blow it up in our minds, man. We do. We blow it up. We blow it up, and we have to try to shrink it down. Try to make it smaller than what it appears. So what? You were sweating or whatever. Your face got red and you got nervous and you were stuttering. So what? Let's start to build ourselves up, man, instead of tearing ourselves down. Nobody else is going to do it for us. We got to do it for ourselves. Build yourself up, man. Start building yourself up. So yeah, let me know what you guys, what your social anxiety origin story is. Subscribe, and you guys have a great day. All right. Peace out.